We're going to open up with prayer, and we're going to open up with the collect for a meeting out of the Book of Common Prayer. So the Lord be with you.
Also with you.
Almighty and ever-living God, source of all wisdom and understanding, be present with all of us here today for the renewal and mission of your church. Teach us in all things to seek first your honor and glory. Guide us to perceive what is right, and grant us both the courage to pursue it and the grace to accomplish it. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. So I'll open up by saying that this year we had 15 memorials / burials. Not all of them were memorials. Some of them were just interment of ashes. But we had 8 baptisms, which is really, really good. And we had 2 weddings, which is even better. Our average attendance bounced around all over the place. At the beginning of the year, it was running around 100. Towards the end of the year, now we're running, this is both services combined. We're running more like 120, sometimes 130. So overall for the year, if you take that average, it's about the low 100s, which is better than last year. So we're going up instead of down, because yesterday the bishop shared with us that overall, the Episcopal Church nationwide is down in attendance 50%, 49, which is a lot. And in the Diocese of Central Florida, we're down about a third from years before in the last 10 years. So thank you for attending. Thank you for worshiping with us. Thank you for inviting your friends, because that's how people come to church, is your invitation. It's not that we have great music or me or anybody else. The most important is you. You know, put an invitation out to your friends, because the more people that come to Jesus and get to know Jesus, the better their lives will be. And that's all I got. And also, if you weren't there at 9:30, Jason Orick voted into the diocesan board, which is awesome. I mean, fantastic.
For 3 years. It's a 3-year term.
Right. Now, has everybody gotten a chance to review the agenda? So we need a motion to approve the agenda and a second, and then we all vote.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, the agenda is approved. Last year's minutes should have been back there for you to pick up. Did everybody get a chance to read through them? All right, everybody get a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Do I have a motion? A second? All in favor? All right, the minutes are approved. Now we're going to start going through each individual staff. They're going to give you a little report about what they do, what's going on, what they plan for maybe the next year. And in case you weren't there this morning and you haven't met her, Carrie, our parish administrator, is here today. She does a lot of stuff, bulletins, emails, you answer. She's wonderful, and we're blessed to have her. Stand up just in case they didn't see you. All right, I know Jason's first, but we're gonna leave him till last. Victoria, you're up. You have to use a Cuban voice like mine and talk real loud.
Okay. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Is this thing on? There's nothing. I'm actually going to talk for me, then I'm going to talk for Rose, then I'm going to talk for Kim Jones. So you're going to see me a while, so if you want to exit to the bathroom, now's the time. I'm going to start with the preschool. I'm the preschool director, 19 years. We always talk about the same thing. In-house registration starts February 1st, and then we open the few spots that are going to be available to the public March 1st. And this year, God picked some new teachers, so we've got a whole new dynamic, which is awesome. He always knows who needs to be there, and I'm very thankful because I don't interview. I just like, God picked you. So we have 75 children We expect to be full again next year, and I just want to thank you for your support. We do ministry 5 days a week over there, and if you ever want to see it, doors are open to you. And Jason has said it in the past. We need to look at the ministries as outreach and not inreach, because just because they don't come to church doesn't mean they're not learning. They're learning about Jesus 5 days a week. And then we have Dig-In. I'm going to roll right into Dig-In, where 2 Wednesdays, the first and the third Wednesday, we have 50 children show up. So now, I didn't add it up, maybe I should. Use your calculator. 75 plus 50. So, we know that church is not a building, it's a people. Wait, I'm not done. But, thank you. So, church is not a building, but a people. It's wherever people are gathered, where 2 or more are gathered, that's where he is. So, it doesn't have to be in a certain place. When we're teaching kids about Jesus, it's church. And it's what this church should be proud of. So instead of, we do hear a lot like, oh, there's a lot of kids, wish we can get them on Sunday. It doesn't matter. Like, we're still getting them. St. Luke and St. Peter is still getting them. And we are raising them to love Jesus. I mean, Brandon and I had the opportunity. He'll talk about it last night. Probably talking fast because I'm running on like 2 hours and a lot of coffee. But to watch, it was a record number of people, of kids, raising their hands and singing songs about Jesus. They have never had so many. There's a movement, and we're part of it. And if we don't get these kids stirred up about Jesus, we're kind of going the wrong direction. So it is huge. Rose wants to thank all the volunteers. We have some people from the church that have been helping. It is welcome. You're welcome to just come and watch, come volunteer, come eat grilled cheese and soup with us at 5:30 before we break out into classes at 6. We want to all come together. I mean, Dig-In and the youth group, we're trying to do that to fill the gaps that we used to have, where some kids didn't have a place. We had little kid programs and we had youth group, but the in-between, which is, that's a group. They need it more than ever. They need it. They're the most important group because it's the group that middle school is a touchy thing. And it's where some kids can go in the wrong direction. So we need to keep them in Jesus' direction. And then VBS is June 3rd through the 7th. It's Vacation Bible School. Yeah, Vacation Bible School is June 3rd through the 7th. We're going to be opening that up to volunteers. And that's 100 kids. So what's the math on that? So 225. So 225. We don't want to forget our littles that come to church. That are, sometimes a little group, sometimes a bigger group. We love them. But they get added into it. So now you've got a lot of kids that we are. So this church should be really proud of the outreach we're doing in all of those departments. So we thank everyone who's part of it, and I know Brandon's we can always use help. So just tell us what God lays on your heart, and we'll plug you in somewhere. You want me to talk for Kim?
Keep going.
Okay. Yes.
Your ministry donated the money for us to buy the stove?
Yes.
Thank you.
Aw, you're welcome. Actually, thank you for bringing that up because we were really proud. And we do use the stove for Dig-In. We cook on that thing, and it's awesome. So we saw a need that we could, really help out. So we did that this year. This coming year, I'm working with someone who might be doing something to the courtyard. That's going to be really nice. It's going to be kid-friendly. It's going to look really alive and beautiful. So I'm really excited about that, but that's going to be also from the preschool. So we just know, we're not just renting this. We are a part of this. This is our heart, and we thank the church for letting us do that ministry over there. So we will give back any way we can. So yes, thank you so much.
And they do.
Thank you. But on the flip page. So Kim Jones, she wanted to be here, but she's working.
She's working.
She is amazing. she's one of our preschool parents, and she is a go-getter. And so I got her with Jason, and he kind of hired her to start renting out this place. She does she's got fundraisers working for Brandon. She did a fundraiser for the preschool, gave us an idea that we get $6,000 to $7,000 every fall fundraiser. She's an idea girl. So you just, if you see her, just thank her. She rents this place out. She's been hustling.
She also does the Festival of Trees.
Yes, she did the Festival of Trees. So she's always looking for ways, but not only to promote and raise money, but what she's doing, like Festival of the Trees, when families come, she'll open up the church for them. She shows them the church, she invites them. In fact, one of the new girls, she's been coming to dig in twice. She came to Rock the Universe tonight, and that family was met at Festival of the Trees. So like, she's doing more than just giving us income. She's bringing families in. So yeah, don't sleep on her. She's good. I think she brought in like 6,900 since she started, and it just kind of finished up. So she's booking more. She's got a co-op that meets every Wednesday. So it's a weekly generated cost of $2,200 that we're bringing in. And she's already got bridal showers, baby showers. So if you want to book it, get with Kim. So she's really trying to generate some income, which is great because we have a great facility and there's not a lot out there. I looked. It's hard to find something that's affordable and this size with a kitchen. I mean, it's a great space. So that's what she wanted to tell you, and that she'll just keep working to get families in, get kids in, and generate some income. So.
And on that real quick, if she set up a Facebook page for it, it's literally
She
Parish
did.
Hall.
She did.
So if you go on Facebook and look at Parish Hall, you'll see this.
Oh, I think our digital specialist is going to go over all those things, right? All right. Does anyone else want me to speak for them? Anyone? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate that. And I wish Kim could have come. I mean, she has been doing a really phenomenal job. This is just about done. Some people have asked me, why are the two old lights still left? Well, when they came, they could not get the scissors lift close enough to get up there and change them. But he is going to come back with a ladder that he's going to get up there and change these two out once we get the lights replaced, because one of them was bad when we took it out of the box. So in the next few weeks, we should be done. Brendan.
I want to make those like 95 music playing as I'm walking up.
We'll work on that for next year.
Hey everyone. Yes, we did go to Rock the Universe last night, so if you see me back there yawning or I just look like I am tired, that is all it is. It was awesome. I was talking to Victoria last night about it, and selfishly, I remember when going with Beverly and Jeff and sleeping on the grass in front of the stage because we had that much room. So seeing that many people last night, I was like, man, I miss when we had that much space. But it truly was just amazing to see all of the students just there. I mean, it was packed. It was amazing. You could just see students just with their hands up, just praising the Lord. It truly, I'm getting shivers down my arms because it was so moving. So it was awesome. Can't wait to go back next year already. So a lot has changed since the last time I was up here. The youth group attended our first Soul in the City with me as the head guy, and it was awesome. I spoke with Blaze. He said that one of his favorite memories from there was just building those connections with other churches and other youth groups. He helped out in the kitchen the most out of all of us, so he really made connections with the people that were helping feed us, and he still talks to several different students at the Cathedral Church. So it was truly awesome just to see all those connections made. I started my youth ministry classes, and thank you guys so much. just for the support of that, whether that be financially wise, whether that just be in prayers, kind words, or just asking me, hey, how's it going? It truly means a lot to me. I don't take it for granted. The classes are amazing. There's several different stuff that I have like going in the works from it. Things such as I'm putting together like a survey to have like a database for the students that we have coming to youth group, even if they only come one time, so that way we still have their information and can reach out to them at a future date. Handbooks to give to and brochures to give to new families when they come that are just in the back of the church, so that way we can outreach this ministry even more. And a detailed list of what jobs we have available in the youth ministry, because I'm looking at adding some volunteers. I've got 2 people that I've been talking to. I'm waiting to see if they want to join me to volunteer for this youth ministry, so I'm really excited about having that opportunity. I think it's just only going to expand the opportunities for what this youth group can do. The whole experience has just been wonderful. So last year I came up to you guys with a few different goals. Some ways I succeeded, but in a lot of ways I failed, or I came up short. But I wanted to show you guys some of the goals that I have for this year. The first one has been talking to Father Rich about getting what I've dubbed the sandwich outreach. We're putting together, I'm looking at going to a couple different Publixes and grocery stores. I've actually got a request in with corporate to see if we can get some donations for bread, peanut butter and jelly, and just getting together on Saturday, making sandwiches for those that are just getting back up on their feet, that are trying to get back out there. We'll donate them, we'll bring them over to a company, they'll distribute it, and just an outreach with the Boy Scouts that we're looking at trying to get up off the ground. So I'm hoping to have that at the latest of February, and all just, again, working out the details of it all. The second goal of mine is to grow the youth ministry. But by this, I mean, I share my sentiments with Victoria, like she already shared, is that it's not, we have several students from the youth group that don't come here on Sunday mornings. But they're still being reached there. And so, but the youth group should never be defined just solely by numbers, but by the growth in the students, volunteers. So my plan is to share with you guys to bring on some volunteers, which open up the group to more opportunities during our regular meeting times to grow with each other through events throughout the year. And my last goal is to implement more from what I've been learning from my cohorts and certification class, to build connections with other youth leaders. I go to the meetings with the youth leaders as often as I can, and it's awesome to share the struggles that we're having, the struggles that they're having, and like kind of just bouncing ideas off of each other on how we can, as a collective, as a diocese, stay connected and grow the Episcopal Church and the Episcopal youth. So I just want to end on this. Thank you guys all for your support, continued support. I can't say it enough. As I continue along with my certification course and as we continue along growing that youth group. This time next year, I hope to stand here as a graduate of the Youth Ministry Institute, and with all of these goals, you know, with some positive stuff to speak up on. And I'm actually speaking for Phil as well. So I'm gonna take a pause. Yeah. So
Phil couldn't be here. He runs the school behind us, Arts Thereafter. They're at a wedding, so.
yeah. So I told him that I would do my best Phil impersonation, but anytime I tried to do it, I was like, I'm just not needing that. I'm not needing his gravitas, I think, is that would be the word. So to the parishioners of the Church of St. Luke and St. Peter, I apologize I cannot be there with you this morning as I'm currently on the last few days of quarantine with COVID. I believe he's actually done with the quarantine. That's why he's at the wedding now. I just wanted to say that we're always thankful to share this property with the Church of St. Luke and St. Peter. Since we were last able to address the whole church, we have successfully sent our first 3 graduates into the world who are all doing their independent studies at Valencia, and all 3 have reached out to us to say that Arts Thereafter prepared them wonderfully for what they could experience at Valencia and beyond. Had a fundraiser that was coordinated by parents in order to provide the campus with security upgrades, like the fence that you see back there, to help safeguard anyone on the playground or in the pavilion. We've upgraded security cameras, magna locks on all the doors like the preschool, and an all-call classroom PA system. Sponsored a business fair in downtown St. Cloud where young people become entrepreneurs and give children the opportunity to be entrepreneurs, boosting their confidence, teaching valuable lessons, and giving them an experience they will never forget. We currently have roughly 80 families that each day deliver close to 105 young learners to our campus. On any random day, these learners learn something as basic as math and reading, but also learn character development by learning how to battle the three monsters that everyone deals with: victimhood, distraction, or resistance. We thank God for the growth that we have been blessed with this experience, and we also thank the Church of St. Luke and St. Peter for allowing us the ability to show the love of Christ to the children of Osceola County, which no doubt will have ripples into the community for years to come. Thank you.
And the playground is going to be upgraded by an Eagle Scout. That's the project that he got approved in order to get his Eagle Scout. And so they're in the process. They're going to take out the old mulch, put new mulch in. They're going to make it a little bit bigger. They're raising money to put another piece of equipment in there for the kids to use. So over the next few months, you're going to see that come along. And one of the other things I do, which I forgot to mention besides baptism, funeral, being with you guys on Sunday, and a bunch of other things, paperwork and stuff, I do go see pastoral visits. I have to do one right after this meeting. So if you know someone who needs a pastoral visit at home, in the hospital, at a nursing home, just let me know, please. And I'd be happy to go out and pray with them, take communion, and I usually bring my partner in crime, Deacon Dorothy, with me. And speaking of Deacon Dorothy, you're next.
Okay, the visitation part is gone. So what I really want to talk about is OSL. That's where we get our healing service from. We have healing service the third Thursdays of each month at 6 o'clock. And we are blessed to have Bailey to supply us with music. This prayer service came out of OSL, the Order of St. Luke's. It's an international, interdenominational Christian healing organization. And we are made up of healing communities dedicated to offering healing prayer in Jesus' name to all who are in need. We are a Christian community of faith, prayer, and service. We are a network of individual believers who come together to learn more about God's healing love and the power of the Holy Spirit to transform lives and bring wholeness. This is our unique mission and ministry. We are growing, our numbers are growing, and we would like to see more people come out. We need to pray. We need to pray somehow. We need to pray. That's all I can tell you. And for the prayer group we started in the back, we need people to pray with us. We have no one at the present. The folks who were willing to help, they themselves need help, and they have obligations that they must meet, so they're not able to be here every Sunday. So those people anyone who is interested in coming to pray with people, we'd love to have you. And then,
We have them back. So
Oh,
they can be
we
in the
need
back
some more.
praying.
We can't burden them
Oh,
alone.
no, thank you.
We need some more. And then I've been asked to speak on the DOK, the Daughters of the King. This is another interesting group. Seriously interesting. Because it's another group who prays. And Esther is our president. I don't remember who I am, but
You're the chaplain.
but
She's our chaplain.
But this is another group of people who really pray. We pray for everybody. We don't do visitation, but if we have to, we will. Right now, we're trying to see if we can help the school. A school in our
Richard didn't put me on the agenda because that would take a while, but,
Go up there with her. Go up there with her.
we are doing several projects. One of them is called FIT, Families in Transition. These are middle school children who live in cars, or don't have a home, or they live somewhere that we don't know. We've been in touch with Narcoossee Middle School, and we're gonna start doing like what St. Cloud Cares does, preparing bags for them to take home, or to take wherever they live, that would consist of, like, say, a toothbrush, a washcloth, soap, things that they need for their daily care. so that they have something. They have nothing. So we met with the, what's the person in the school? The guidance counselors, thank you, Sharon. And they told us what they needed, so I'm gonna be sending out a list. We're also, there's 8 daughters right now. We have 3 new daughters that possibly will be coming on. We want to do meals for EMTs, police officers, and others. What we wanted to do was have a day where we make a meal, maybe sit out in the gazebo, have them drive by, and we can offer them a bag with a small meal to take. So we really want to do more activities for the community. We're also going to be involved in, I'm the president, I know nothing. We're going to be also involved with the Hope Ministries, because we'd like to bring back the bags for the homeless. That some of you know Nancy Dushensky, when she left, she used to have bags. She left all the bags in here. I found all the bags, so we want to start doing bags where I can put them in the back of the church. You can take a bag, keep it in your car, and when you see a homeless person, give them a bag. So I think we need to reestablish that ministry again. There's so many things we want to do, but we need everyone's help, and especially prayers. So, but the daughters are moving right along, and we're hoping to do great things in 2024 and beyond.
It was all about outreach. So in the bags, some are for men, some are for women, and we put like hygienic stuff like toothpaste, toothbrush, things like that.
Amen.
Mr. Timothy.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up here, but when I visit you in the pews, you guys are ready to run. I'm not gonna take your from you.
Well, you never know.
Good morning. Good morning. I know you can hear my voice. I would like to first thank God for this church, the vestry, the congregation, and the choir for the 5 years I think I've been here, since 2019. It's been a blessing since I've been to this church. You've been a real blessing to me, and I hope that I've been a blessing to you. Okay. The choir for their continued support for all the musical events and the service. So a lot of work goes into all the things that the choir does. You know, they come every week to prepare to sing. We have one big event that I'm going to talk about in a minute here, but you know, they carry the spiritual service with their voices for this congregation and for all those that are listening. It's very important. As always, the annual cantata is a big event preparing for Advent. That's the big event, I think, musical event for the church. And in 2023, we had 2 other choirs join us. We had members from St. Thomas Aquinas Catholic Church and St. Francis Cabrini Catholic Church choir members with us. And this year, I think we have another church choir coming to join us. Our numbers have increased as far as attendance. So to me, as Victoria and Brandon were talking about, you know, the church is about us. It's not about a building. But this is another outreach that brings the spirit of this church to other people, but they have to come to this building again. And then they take it with them. You don't know how many of the choir members that joined us, they're always wanting to come back and sing with us again because of that spirit. So what you give them here, they take with them. And who knows what's going to happen with that. Some of them, I have a couple of them, that are willing to come on Sundays and sing sometimes. But I have to be careful with that. I don't want to steal people's thunder. This year I'm considering doing advertisement in the bulletin for the cantata to help bring more money for the music ministry here. You know, what happens with the music ministry, we bring in instruments sometimes, we bring in guests, and the cantata, it gets expensive. And the budget's okay, but it never covers everything. So I'm gonna try to bring in some more income to help with that. Because it's not cheap, but but I think it's well deserved. The other things is the studio. I work through the church. I bring people here. Jimmy Gillum, who's a violinist that comes and plays for us all the time. He comes and he teaches violin every other week. So twice a month he comes and teaches. So I'm growing that ministry here too. And I'm hoping that that will help donate towards the church also. The other thing is the choir membership is stable, but the numbers fluctuate. You know, due to activities, school functions, and other situations, people get sick. And sometimes you'll see more people up in the choir, sometimes you'll see less. Some come from out of town when they can, and then they're gone. So we could use more people in the choir. So don't run from me when I come to you. There's always an opportunity and an open seat waiting to be filled in the choir. If life gets you down and you need your spirit lifted, sing praise to God. It will. The joy will always be a gift. When church is full and you can't get your seat, come join and you will never have that need. Your talents and your time is all we ask. It will make your day and you will be blessed. Thank you for a wonderful 5 years as your music minister. Thank you.
Thank you. And when Deacon Dorothy was up here, I forgot to mention that we have a healing service that's every third Thursday of the month. Sometimes it's the fourth, depending on what's happening on the calendar. It's totally different service than what you're used to on Sunday. And I really encourage you, if you need prayer, if you want to pray, just come. It's a really, really, really uplifting experience. You really feel the Holy Spirit that day as you do on Sunday as well. So please come, invite your friends. And there's also an organization called Seeds of Hope, which they kind of help churches, help with outreach. And Deacon Eric is our representative. He goes there to these meetings once a month on a Thursday, and then he reports back what's going on. So I would thank Deacon Eric for doing that, because I've been to those meetings and yeah, okay, thank you. All right, I think Katie.
Hello everybody, I'm Katie Drogos, in case you don't know who I am.
I don't have any music from you, sorry.
Yeah.
I know. Mr. Timothy's very great for when we do trunk or treat or Christmas things. I would like to thank the folks who put the meal together today. I think that's awesome. I'm part of Diggin' also, so I know that it's a lot of work to get food put together, so appreciate that. And the cleanup crew, don't forget the cleanup crew. So I'm a digital media specialist person, and what I do is I put the birthdays, anniversaries, events, pictures, all sorts of things on Facebook and our website. I do 90% of what's on Facebook. The other 10% comes from other contributors such as Brandon or Miss Victoria or maybe Jeff. Jeff, you put anything on there?
I'm sneaky something.
Some. All right. So if you have an event or something that you would like to put on there that's church related, write it down and text it to me. The details and the hours and day and that kind of thing, because I won't remember if you tell me like in passing. I'm flighty that way. So just write down and then I can put it in there. I'd also like to thank Jeff and Beverly and Jason and Grace, because they help the streaming. So while we come to the building, there's people that watch the services at home, and that can't be done without those 4 people and extra teams if they've got extra teams. I don't even know how they do that, so let's give them a round. All right, so I was thinking, I know a lot of people of y'all are on Facebook, right? And I know a few people will click the little heart button, right? And I know Sandy W., I don't know Sandy W., but Sandy W. tells everybody happy birthday.
Yep.
So,
It's true.
so, if you are liking and loving stuff and commenting, I know we had a really popular post where I had asked like what your favorite Christmas song was, and a lot of people will put answers. That's awesome. It's social media. Let's be social.
And she also runs our website, okay? She'll put things on there for me, so she wears many hats and does lots of things. And
Thanks.
I want to thank a couple people. Carrie, of course, you know, for all the work she does. She has to put up with me. She knows how my mind wanders. I'll just come up to her and just throw things at her left and right. And Sandra, who I don't think they're here this Sunday, but she cleans up all the buildings and everything, and she does a really amazing job also as well. And now, last but not least, is our senior warden, who's going to give a senior warden report and the budget.
Good morning. My goal is to get done before we say good afternoon. So, I think we can do it. There's been a lot of thank yous already put out there today, and in danger of always forgetting someone, I'm going to try and keep that a little bit to a minimum. But I would like our vestry members to stand up if you could, please. Jeff, Doug, Denise, Sonia, we're missing Donna. This group works very hard on the backside, and right now, because of the strange circumstances we're in, they're kind of shackled to the vestry. So just keep that in mind. They have all agreed to serve. They were not, well, Denise might have been coerced. But overall, they've agreed to serve, and I'm very, very appreciative of them. The ideas they bring, the accountability they bring, they help keep me grounded a little bit, which is helpful. Doug is always very good at keeping my head from swelling. He reminds me, so I do appreciate the vestry, and I wanted to say thank you to you guys. I know it's weird being in something where there's really no end date set, but I think we have a really good group of leaders that sees a vision that we're striving to kind of get to. I did want to announce that before we replace that stove, I will be retiring, because I'm not doing that again. I'm glad we have it, I'm glad it's there, but I will not be here when the next one comes. Let's hit the budget real quick. Quick note on that, the 2023 column you see is the budget that was adopted for 2023. That is not actual.
Does everybody have one?
We
If not, there's some in the back.
do not have final accounting per se for 2023 yet. Our accountant Ashlyn had the audacity to have a baby, and the timing was not great for us, but I guess it was good for her and her family. And we're very happy with Ashlyn. That is a relationship that we started at the very end of 2022 and really ramped it up in 2023. She's been incredible for us. It hasn't come without some bumps in the road, but she's been really awesome to work with. She has done a great job of getting our accounting as a church formalized, organized, and put together in categories, and she's made us a little bit more accountable on the financial side as well. She also has taken a great deal of work off of our parish administrator. The reason we can have a Carrie and not ask her to be here 50 hours a week is because of the work that Ashlyn is doing, taking care of the books, the financials. We've streamlined the bill pay process wherever possible. I think we're cutting, a couple checks a week, if that, where we used to be cutting, 50 checks a week. And our staff was, gracious enough to allow us to put them on direct deposit, so they're not having to deal with payroll checks anymore. That stuff's getting dumped into their bank account most of the time on time. Now, got to spread that away. So, with that being said, that what's on the left is 2023. That was the budget that was adopted. That is not the actuals. So on the 2024, you can imagine trying to budget without knowing how you finished the prior year is a little bit difficult. But I was able to kind of look at where we were at year to date through November, make some adjustments. Arts thereafter income increased last year after we had already gone through the budgeting process. The building and facilities contributions, that's the money that is being earned through events, space rental. So every time someone comes in here, somebody mentioned, you know, the Wednesday group that comes in here, and they pay $300 a week, or
It's $200.
$200 a week, every single week. And that all goes into that building and facilities income. I truly think that that is a very low number for what we can actually accomplish with Kim in this space. She's got stuff on the books for the end of 2024 already. So it's really exciting. We, of course, cannot take ownership of that money until the event comes, but it's great to know it's out there. Everything else is kind of, you know, pretty static. You know, I did make a move. You know, we had a separate line for copier. That's an office expense. We don't need to have a separate line for copier. So there's there's at least one place where, you know, there's no money budgeted. It's not because we blew up the copy machine. We just put it where it belongs.
Liability insurance, it has gone up 20%.
Yep.
It's not a lot.
It's insurance as a whole. So there was a couple things that happened. One, there was a law passed for churches and large organizations that went into effect this year, that requires us to carry a federal insurance policy against mass shootings and things of that nature. So there was an added expense in that. We tried to go through the process of trying to find a new insurer.
We tried.
We tried hard. I mean, out of calling 10 insurance companies, we got 2 return calls. One of them disappeared before the end, and the other one left the industry or something like that.
They left the state.
Yeah, they're in the wrong state. You know, from asking around, you know, from discussing out, you know, outside of it, Church Insurance Agency is still probably our best option. I don't think we're going to give up on looking for it. We do benefit in pricing because the Episcopal Church nationally uses them, and the Diocese of Central Florida uses them. So I wouldn't say there's a discount in there, but the pool is greater. You know, the other part of that federal insurance policy included sexual harassment and abuse. So, you know, not to mention, I don't know if any of you got the same bill that I got this year. Every one of our home insurance policies went up yet again. So, you know, Winston, I feel you. I want to see that come down. It seems like a lot.
One more question.
Yeah.
Police pension plan, it has gone down 27%, but could you explain to us what does the reduction mean? How did that come about?
So the $16,000 number, when I wrote this budget for 2023, the $16,000 number was I pulled from prior years when Father Rob was still with us. And he was a full-time priest, and our contribution to the church pension fund was a lot higher. And I had tried to make an adjustment. I did not understand the program very well. And Jeff even taught me more about it this morning. So, you know, without getting, you know, too crazy into specifics, Father Richard comes to us at an astronomical discount. I don't even know how else to put it. An astronomical discount. And we're blessed. We're blessed. And so that's why the reduction in that. I over budgeted for it this year. And when I looked year to date through November, our contribution was about $8,600 or $8,700 in those 11 months. So the $10,000 is a rough guesstimate. Jeff put some numbers on paper. We think it's going to be a little 81. But it's a good question.
Would you like to address something while we're there about this man and this woman and what they've made the decision to do?
So when we originally, if you call it a negotiation, Father Richard's contract with former canon to the ordinary, Scott, he had pretty much laid down some guidelines and said, this is where you have to be, no ifs, ands, or buts it, you know, the prior bishop, so on and so forth, and what they had locked Father Richard into was a number that we weren't crazy comfortable with, but it's what he wanted. Well, Father Richard...
Not what I wanted.
I know. Well, Father Richard And Esther decided this year to lower that number even further. So now we're in like, when I said astronomical, now we're in like, he's donating his time in a lot of ways. And so that's the other, the other part. And he still gets a paycheck, but I figure by the time taxes and everything come out, and he still dutifully tithes as well, so, on top of that. So, good questions,
I
Winston.
love this church, so, I want to see it grow, and I want to see it be successful by the time I retire and I'm out of here. So the next person.
You're never out of here.
Well, never out of here, but some
Assistants are always around.
Yeah.
So, good questions, Winston. I'm
Yeah.
glad somebody actually looks.
And we did take your suggestion last year to look at other insurances, but it's impossible. They're leaving the state of Florida. They don't want to put anybody new under their plans. It's hard.
So, yeah, I am gonna look at it again closer this year, Winston, and there's some stuff in play because the way we're insured is by building. And, we are carrying insurance on those buildings over there, even though Phil is also carrying insurance on some of those buildings. And I don't know, there's some logistics involved in how that works with the diocese because we own the buildings, and so there's more opportunity there for sure. So, if anybody doesn't have any more questions about the budget.
Repairs and maintenance, I noticed that you have 5,000 for this year and 5,000 for the coming year. In light of how much this building will be used, is 5,000 a realistic figure?
Probably not. We actually, it felt to me sometimes like we had a bad year in repairs and maintenances, but it actually wasn't too bad after what we had been through with the AC units and stuff before. For these 3 buildings, it was relatively tame. The largest expense that we spent in repairs and maintenance this year were on the Arts Thereafter buildings, between roof leaks and mold and rot. So that's noted, Sam.
Does that figure also include maintenance of the surrounding property?
No, that's a facilities expense. So, yep, so the landscaping, things of that nature all go into that facilities expense line. So, good question.
Interest expense.
I will look at that close. What's that?
Interest expense going from 2 to 10.
Interest expense, prior to Ashland taking over our bookkeeping, we did not have anything called interest expense. The way that it was being booked between Mike Margio and Jackie, because our books don't get audited by the IRS, there was a lot of accounting things that just weren't being done right. And so facilities expense was something the interest expense was something that Ashland told me was going to change when I wrote this budget for last year, but we had no idea what it was going to be because she had not finished reconciling all of the transactions from the prior year. So when Ashland took over, she actually went 2 years prior, downloaded every transaction, and then went line by line and readjusted what they were charged to and where they were going. So when I looked at our year-to-date interest expense through November, we were already at, I believe, 34,000 and change. And so that's the mortgage, and then that's the 3% that we pay on the building loan that we took out to do all the renovations and stuff. Those are the only 2 debts we have. So.
Can I speak to that? And just to let you know that for the next 2 years, I work in the ISM office and I'm in the finance side, so that's why I know this. And I don't know if Jason might even know this yet, but for the next 2 years, the loan for the diocese that is going to go down from 3% to 1.5%. So for interest. So for the next 2 years.
Again, good questions. Anybody else?
To get paid off at the 1.5%.
Excuse me?
I said, so we should make sure the building stays booked with
Yes.
the men so we can pay it off to 1.5%.
Yes.
Yeah, and
this.
And the vestry has a stated goal of that building and facilities income, that a percentage or a portion of that will go directly to starting to pay down the balance on that loan. There is still money in that account. We have not actually spent it all, believe it or not. But we still have a couple more things to do.
What's our mortgage amount at present?
152,000 and some change, roughly, which is very manageable. Our mortgage payment is lower than my mortgage payment, so. Which is good.
It's a low interest.
It is, we got that locked in at, I think, 2%, or something like that.
And it's lower than many other churches.
Yep, and that's with South State Bank. If we can get them to leave us alone about flood insurance, then we'll be.
That's every year.
Because apparently we're in a 1,000,000-year floodplain, and now that has to be insured.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you allowing or accruing any money out of the facilities money to do replacements? Like, we used to try to keep all of the dishes at 200. If we say we can see 200, then we need to have 200 forks and 200 knives and all that type thing.
So what I hope to accomplish this year is to start doing some of that, where we have buckets essentially set up with Ashland, to where we're setting money aside every month to reestablish some of the, poor Timothy, every year he sees he's got a budget, but the bottom line is that money's not in the bank account. And so it's depending on where the church is at, whether or not Timothy can access that money. And what I really want to drill into is these asset accounts, is what they're actually called with the accounting, they're asset accounts. I really want to drill into and make sure those asset accounts are getting the allocated money on a monthly basis, so that Timothy can walk in to Carrie and say, Carrie, what's my bucket at? And Carrie can look on the thing and say, you have $1,500 in there right now. And then Timothy knows what he has to spend. Same with youth, same with teens, all those different assets, Daughters of the King, all those different asset accounts. For the longest time, it was just dump them all in the main account, and then when we can't pay our bills, it goes bye-bye. And so my hope is this year that we can really get that set up, so that everybody who has a committee or an organization knows exactly what they have to spend and how they can spend their money, instead of, can we pay our bills this month?
Before Father Rob left, we talked about a new set of dishes, because the dishes that are here are horrible.
Right.
They have been horrible from the beginning. They were purchased by men, no offense to any men, but they are not, if you're gonna be doing a lot of catering and that type of events here, they're not the kind of dishes that you would use.
Right.
They're thick, they're clumsy, they chip, they're just not what we should have gotten from the beginning, and we've been using them since 1990. So, they're at least durable, if nothing else. If they're vintage, could I sell them and get them in to buy something new? But one of the things I had talked to Father about, and he had talked to the vestry, and they felt like that was a good idea, was that we could take a portion of the money from the Mother's Day tea and put that into something until we could get enough to replace those and send them to somebody else who needs them.
No, I think the person, that's a conversation we can have with Kim, and because she's the one talking to all the people when she's showing the building, and she'll give us, give us a list of your wants and needs and goals, and then let's put a budget to it, or find out what that cost is and work towards it. And then if you host an event like a Mother's Day tea and you say, this is what I would like a portion of the proceeds to go to. Again, in the past, all that money, you would say, I want $2,000 to go towards the dishes. The money got deposited in the general fund, and then
it got spent somewhere.
And then it got spent somewhere, and we need to, I want to clean that up. We still have to pay our bills first, but I want to clean that up so that everybody has a better understanding of where the money's going and how they can spend it. Because it's disheartening when you're in charge of a ministry and your budget is zero, or you don't know from time to time, what you're able to use your money for. So, good point. Any other questions on the budget? I think we need a motion.
A motion. And a second.
Second.
All in favor of accepting this budget for 2024? Any nays?
All right, couple other things to follow up with. Facilities, as Father Richard mentioned, we're down to the lights and the ceiling tiles in the kitchen. That's all we had planned for this building at this time. So we will, except for the partition, we're figuring that out. I learned that church building and facilities maintenance is a lot like working for the federal government. You have grand plans, but it happens over long periods of time. You can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. So we would like to then move into the narthex and give a refresh on the narthex bathrooms. That is something that we would like to get taken care of. So, you know, we still would like to finish the sound, and we have been told that we have a generous donator that is willing to cover the cost of that. So we're going to jump on that this month. Well, not this month. We're going to jump on that in February and hopefully get that wrapped up as quick as possible. You know, yeah. Yes. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm working with a consultant. That is what he does for a living. He provides sound for churches and large building facilities, and he's a very good Christian man. And he was doing it as just a side gig, as a donation, and it has now turned into something where we'll probably actually have him fly here, you know, to do the install. But he's going to tell us what to buy and what to do, and we're going to have it all ready. And he's agreed to come and install it, or help us install it, and then stay through a Sunday to teach us how to use it, and then, you know, kind of just be somebody who can give us advice moving forward. You know, I was asked this morning, and it's definitely something that I want to bring up. You know, everybody here, maybe not everybody, but most of you are enjoying food and coffee and juice. And I can tell you, Jesus is not back there laying his hands on loaves of bread and making that multiply. We have to establish a committee for coffee. And 2024 will be less of me and Father Richard saying, will somebody please do this? And it will be me and Father Richard walking up to people and saying,
thank you.
I think you'd be awesome. Thank you for doing it. So before you get voluntold to take over a committee on coffee hour, I would like to find a volunteer. So if you feel like that is something you are passionate about, please, you know, see Father Richard or Esther or myself or any of the vestry members and just say, hey, this is something I'd be willing to do. You are the chair of that committee, and then you will be allowed to walk around and voluntold other people
right now
to become part of your committee.
Is doing all the work for coffee. And she is doing an amazing job, and it's a lot of work, I can tell you. So please help her. I mean, she's running it, but she needs help. And there are a few that are helping her, but the more the merrier. Okay. And poor Doug and Jane are doing all the altar guild, so it'd be nice to give them some help also as well.
The rental agreement for this facility. Kim, as they mentioned, Kim is your contact for that, okay? Carrie, if you call Carrie and say, Carrie, I would like to rent the parish hall, Carrie's going to say, here's Kim's phone number. Email. Yes, email. Kim is responsible for that calendar solely. I do not have access. I don't think I have access to that calendar, but I will never take access to that calendar. We need all of that to flow through Kim, because we don't want to be stepping on toes when it comes to events that are scheduled or, you know, what Kim has going on. There is a parishioner price to be able to rent this, and in certain situations, your vestry, you know, has the ability to potentially even waive those fees depending on what it is and what's going on. So make use of it. I mean, you guys did this, so make use of it. But go through Kim. One potentially exciting thing that could happen in 2024, but it deals with government, so it might not happen until 2025, is they are expanding the road out here. I'm not sure if everybody is aware of that. This road is moving to 4 lanes. We will be getting a traffic light So no more playing Frogger, trying to get in and out of here at certain times of the day. But you say, how does that affect us? Well, we have property. We have property that they need to widen the road before it gets to the bridge. I've never gotten a letter from an attorney before, but I got 3 within a short amount of time from different attorneys that saw this process begin with the county. And we have come to an agreement. I mean, it's not really an agreement because it doesn't cost us anything, because their fees come from the county and not even from our share. So we have an attorney that has already become the point person to work directly with the county on all those negotiations. They will estimate fair price. They will be our liaison to make sure that our access is not inhibited during the process. They will be the ones that make sure that our utilities stay functioning. It's not something that I want to take on. And again, the way it's set up is the attorney fees actually get paid by the county when the final sale is decided, and then the church will receive whatever monies is discovered. I have no idea what it's worth. It could be tens of thousands. It could be, I don't know. It could be 5,000. Who knows? But that's coming, and it's exciting for the access and for the safety of people getting in and out of this parking lot. Having another neighborhood right across the street, it's who's turning left, and anyway, it is fraud. One of the things I did want to touch on was the diocesan relationship. When we first started coming here, there was so many positives about this church and this congregation, but one of the things that I kind of kept getting in my ear was this lack of relationship with our diocese, this lack of sisterhood or companionship with other churches in our dioceses, the negativity surrounding our diocesan office. And I always used to scratch my head and go, how awkward must it be for Beverly to go to work 5 days a week in a place where so much of her congregation thinks is bad. And I'm not saying there's not history there, and I wasn't a part of that, and I think the message is that's all in the past. We have a brand new bishop who is electric. The guy's on fire. And he's going big nationally and internationally on a platform that I think this congregation and this parish can really get behind. He's already made a ton of moves. They were the best we could get out of the prior bishop was a part-time consultant for youth. That's the best we could get at him. Every year the budget would come out, $2.5 million, $2.6 million. Here's $20,000 for youth. What are we doing? He's got rid of the consultants, and he has voluntold 3 clergy members that have experience in youth ministry. One of them is homegrown, with us. The other one is the president of the school, and now they're in charge of that ministry. And the budget went up a little bit for it, but they're also, I don't think, really being compensated much for their time at all. But that's something as I've heard from this congregation for years that we want more of, is the interaction with youth and children. That's something that's really exciting. And I want to encourage this group to find the Central Florida Diocese website and bookmark it and go look at it and go see all of the events that are happening around the diocese at given times. One of his big pushes is the deaneries for so many years have pretty much been stagnant. And if you don't know it, the deanery would be like our district. So this church is in the Central Florida Deanery. There's 20-something churches in that deanery, roughly.
Yeah.
But in a sense, there's supposed to be a companion relationship with that deanery where we're supposed to be going to the deanery for education, and they're supposed to be providing services for us as a diocese, or for us as a church, to do a better job of running our church, to do a better job of finding volunteers and structuring committees and things of that nature. That stuff, we're going to start seeing it pop up, because Justin or Bishop Holcomb, I don't believe he's the kind of guy that's going to sit back and not see his goals accomplished. He's a very impressive person. Our priest was on the selection committee. So for years, this church and the Central Florida Diocese have been like this. And all of a sudden we have a priest who's on the selection committee, and now we're getting more involved. And then out of nowhere, nobody knows my name there. Out of 400 people there, I probably have met 20 or 30 of them, and I get elected to a board seat. And that's another connection for our church to be more involved with the diocese. We don't know what's going to happen with the National Episcopal Church.
It was your picture, Jason.
It was my picture.
Who took that picture?
I took that picture.
So do you still stay warden now?
Yes, it doesn't change anything here, but it gets us a seat at the table at the diocesan level, and the ability, everywhere you go, when you say you're from St. Luke and St. Peter, they say, oh, Tri-Saints, ha ha ha, we know you people. But I think for the last 10 or 15 years, they might know of us, but we haven't been showing up. And so that's my encouragement to all of you. Get on that website, go find something that's interesting to you. Somebody who's been involved with Crescio at the diocesan level for years. That program's getting a whole revamp and an energy boost. Daughters of the King, same thing. So, let's continue to find ways to connect that relationship with the diocese. And when opportunities come, our hope is that we find out about events that are happening further in advance so that we can also extend the invite to you. And even provide transportation, carpool if we have to go attend some of these events. I'm really excited about that, and it was one of my stated goals when I agreed to serve on the vestry, was that relationship had to change. That relationship had to get better. And thank you to Father Richard and Esther. I think it has. I know Beverly's always been a champion for this church. It's funny how she kind of nudges you a little bit here and there. I don't know if anybody else has got that nudge from Beverly before, but it's definitely a skill that she has. So, last year I ended with, a challenge to everybody to come to church. I felt like that, I still feel like that is paramount to this congregation and the success of St. Luke and St. Peter moving forward. And I'm keeping that around for 2024. Come to church. I understand vacations, I get it, but when you're home and you're available, get to church. You will not get a better feeling anywhere else, and you won't get a better feeling online. Come and see your friends, come and see your family, but I'm going to add a part B to that this year, and that is to check on your friends. So if you come to church for a couple weeks in a row and you notice that the people next to you haven't been there, make a phone call. Ask around and try and figure it out. Call them. Who knows? Sometimes people don't always share with Father Richard what's going on in their lives. Sometimes they've had situations in their family that they haven't told anybody about. But we need to be there to call them, and if they're just hanging out, maybe shame them a little bit to get them back to church, but also to make that connection and say, hey, we missed you. We truly missed you when you were at church. And then the second part, and Father Richard talked about it, is invite someone to church. Father Richard mentioned the statistics we were told yesterday. At the national level, the Episcopal Diocese has lost almost 50% of its parishioners in the last 10 years, which is a crazy number, especially when you consider, that's kind of even past the great upheaval that occurred nationally with the Episcopal Church. So even post that, the Episcopal Church has lost 49%, and in Central Florida, 39%. Central Florida has the largest amount of de-churched people in the whole country. The fastest growing rate of people stopping going to church in the country. And there's a great book out there, and I attended a diocesan event and just had my socks blown off, and I've talked about it. I've given 3 books away. I got people in different states reading books. Well, part of that book, it's called The Great De-Churching. And part of that book is going to become the curriculum, if you will, that the bishop is going to focus on with the diocese. And the idea is that you understand that of all the people that have left church, 50% are waiting to come back. All you gotta do is ask. All you gotta do is ask. They did a study of 40 million people, and of the 50% that left church for whatever reason, all they need is somebody to say, hey, you should come check out my church. It's pretty cool. We have fun. We're a little crazy. We have a crazy choir, but we have fun.
Yeah. Priest tells jokes.
Yeah. Priest tells a bad joke at the start of every No, it was better than that. So, and I'm sure we'll get more direction from the diocese as the year goes on how to approach this and where it's going. But again, the book is called The Great Dechurching. I have a copy. If somebody wants to borrow it, you can borrow it. It'll blow you away. The people that have left the non-denominational churches are dying for something like this. They want to come to something like this. So we actually have an advantage. The percentage, I won't spout the percentages because I don't remember them all. The percentage of people who left non-denominational churches will never, ever, ever go back. And it's like 75 or 80%. But when given the opportunity to attend an Anglican or
a
mainline church, they're like 80% likely to go back. And that comes with an invite from you. So come to church, check on your people, check on your pew mates, and invite someone to church.
Yep.
And we're going to have an awesome year. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you to Jason and the vestry. They do work really hard. One last thing, just real quick. You should have gotten in your packet. Richard Fifield runs a church history of the church class on Sundays after the 9:30 service. And he has a pretty good group right now that's attending. If you're ever interested to find out how we got here, attend his church. If you have any questions, he's back there. You can ask him. Now, anything else before we wrap up? No. Then let's pray. Let's pray like our Lord taught us how to pray. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
we are adjourned.